Good evening, everybody. How is everybody? It's Stephen, the medium here. And if you are looking to connect with your loved ones, you're in the right place. Your loved ones that have crossed. I can't do anything about your sister who's living and you haven't spoken to her in 4 years. That I can't do much about, but I can connect you with people who are dead. So, how is everybody? I'm just looking, which I really shouldn't be doing, looking at how I look, which we all do, and my lips look like I have lipstick on. So, let me, hey, everybody. Wow, everyone's like, it just popped up that everyone's here. Hey, Donna and Canada is in the house, and Patty and Liz and Denise, Alyssa and Teresa and Kelly Sue, and my God, it just goes on and on and on. And Knocker and Tanya, how is everybody? I'm so excited to get to do this and to do some readings. And I was just saying why it looks like I have lipstick on is that I'm not a fan of any of this, right? I've never been, and not chapstick, like not the brand, just putting stuff on my lips. But is anyone like having issues with lips? I don't know what it is, if it's just because, I don't know, it's really dry out or so, but I had no choice. And I've already snapped off. Elix and I went to CVS tonight and I bought this, and I already snapped off the top of this as I was putting it on. Like I just had it like a couple of hours, and I opened it up maybe too far, and all of a sudden, like this much just popped right off and fell down. So the strawberry tastes good, but I keep tending to, and I don't know, it feels better anyway. So, but hi, how is everybody? Hey, Lisa is in the house. Lisa, if you're looking for any kind of pet services, you got to look up Lisa Hart. She's amazing, and she takes care of boys. And let me just see if I can pull this up, which of course I can't. I was going to say something, but in any case, it's Upper Cape Pet Services. Did an orb just go by, or was that me? I don't know if it did or not, but I swear. Liz, thank you. So yeah, so we were in Puerto Rico and we had a fantastic time. I love all the comments just asking or saying, we're so sorry you came back, but it was just one day. We were supposed to come back Saturday, and Jess, you saw it, right? Through the corner of my eye, Liz, you too. I thought I saw something fly by. So orbs, come on, spirit, show some more. I can't speak. Show some more to everybody who's here, because they're all for you guys. But I love the comments. But Elix and I had a great time. We came back one day, and we just, we know we're going back. We know we're so fortunate to be able to have been there. So it was all good. And to be honest, thank you, Tammy, and thank you, everybody. The best thing about it was taking care of the boys, because the two dogs, Django and Little Ricky, that's tough. I mean, Elisa, as I just mentioned, who would take care of the boys and is amazing. I think that she would be like Tarzan and Jane. She'd be the Jane swinging from vines to get here to take care of those boys, and she just would. That's who she is, and the people that she has working for her are incredible. But because all this, like, there was this prediction of so much snow, we got a shovel, because the two boys are, they're pipsqueaks, they're little, so that just puts a lot of pressure on Lisa. I know that she could have done it, but then all of a sudden, then you get back and nothing shoveled, so it all worked out well. And at first we didn't think we were going to be able to get another flight, because everybody was doing the same thing, but luckily, knock on wood, we got to do it. So I'm really excited that we got home and we're here, and I get to do this. So I'm also very excited. Helix and took his mom out to Mezzaluna. Anybody who's familiar with the Cape or Massachusetts know about Mezzaluna on the other side of the bridge in Buzzards Bay, and it was a great meal. So I hope best chapstick is chapstick, huh? Aaron, are you trying to make me think I'm drunk? The best chapstick is chapstick. Oh, this is chapstick. See, this doesn't bode well for readings if I can't even figure out what the hell I'm saying. But listen, before I start readings, I have to ask anybody that's on here, tick Nhat Hanh. Has anyone ever heard of him? He is a Zen. Hey, Vicky and Chrissy, a Zen Buddhist monk. I'm just trying. I'm just trying to think of his title. And Amin Carver. Hey, Kelly Sue, you are. And just died, I think at 96, something like that. And he popped up on my screen, and I decided to look into him. And you see the orb? Spirit's listening. They just another orb just went by, and I'm sort of ashamed that I didn't know about him because I just was watching a documentary, a small documentary, and just figuring out who he was and was this most incredible guy. So, hey, Annette. So Buddhist, so Tanya, you know who he is. It's amazing. I just did an hour meditation that I found on YouTube that was his, and it was, I'm not going to stay long on this because I want to do readings, but I will tell you this, that if you follow me or you ever hear me talk about getting signs, because people always ask me constantly, how do I get signs, and I always say you have to be in the present, right? You can't be in the past, you can't be in the future, you've got to be in the present. It's the only way that you can see signs. And I have just been discovering from Thich Nhat Hanh, and I think his nickname was Thai, that, and I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, so much more than just getting signs. It's what he believed, that being in the present is the only place where you can flourish, where you can be happy, where you can live, where you can be at peace. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. But I was talking to Elix about it, and he's amazing. So if you are talk about enlightenment, he definitely raised the frequency of this. Wow. So Kelly Sue, I love you. You know this, and he uses the word enlightenment through the entire meditation. That's so cool. I love that. I love, and I feel, like I sort of lost out that I didn't know about him sooner. But the great thing about me is that I get to connect with him in spirit. So, so let's do some readings. Well, so what's interesting, Anne, will me and my guy recover from the situation we're having at the moment and move forward together in a relationship, please? Anne, your name just popped out at me, and the reason why I'm sort of pulling to you, and that's how this whole thing, how spirit works, Anne, is that there's a at first I thought it was a grandmother, and there may be, but there's a grandfather for you, and I as he steps forward and just keeps talking about this is not, Anne, about that. The way you're asking that question is not I don't know. Can I show this? Oh my God, I can. I'm so smart. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss it, Anne. And besides the fact I love your profile, that dog is adorable. But your grandfather just stood next to me and said that tell my granddaughter that she's asking the question wrong. It's not really about me and my guy recover from the situation we're having at the moment and move forward together in a relationship, please. Because he said it's got to start with you taking the power back in, and that's not being selfish. And then I'm just telling you what this is not the way I do readings normally, but your grandfather just came out of nowhere and just keeps telling me that and talks about a pregnancy, or it feels like there was a pregnancy, then a lost pregnancy, or there's a conversation about pregnancy, or and I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's what your grandfather is talking about. So just make sure, Anne, you've got so much, like you're, when I just tuned into your energy, you've got a lot of angels around you, which means that you're very, very connected, and that you've got this incredible soul and this incredible energy. You have to just make sure that to answer that question in the way you want it answered. And your grandfather said she wants the question answered in that it's going to go well, it's going to get better. It's been rough, it's been tough. But your grandfather also just said, though, but the only way you can get that answer that you want is to start with you. Seriously, it's just is to put yourself first, know what you want, and not about what your boyfriend or anybody else thinks what you should be, or how you handle things, or who you are, or and let go of this is the way it should be because we've been together for a while and let's move forward. And I'm not saying that because it's not going to happen. It's just the perspective. It's really, I think, it's really great advice that your grandfather is giving, and just said, all of us in spirit know how incredible she is, and we just wish in our prayer is that she understands that too. So Anne, make sure you keep that with you. I mean, I know it's maybe not the answer that you want, even though your grandfather said yes it is. So Anne, what's with the baby? There's something with I keep hearing like a lost baby. I don't know if this is a miscarriage or there was, someone had an abortion, but there's something with a baby. I don't know, Anne, where'd you go? I don't know if, because I tagged you, if I can't see you any more. I'm not sure because I don't see any more comments. I mean, I'm going to pull people up on video too to do readings, but Anne, I can't see, where did you go? And I also don't know. Hi, did I do that? So maybe Anne. So I don't know what happened here. So let's do this. And why can't I do this? Hold on. Copy. Give me a second. So paste. I think I'm doing this right. So if you're interested in coming on video, I just posted the URL that I think you need to click on to get in as a let me see, because I don't see anybody here, but let me see. You may also want to share instructions for guests. I have no. This is. Oh, Anne, I just your grandfather just said, get out and look at the comment. I want a baby and it's not happening. Yeah, so just that's part of that conversation about a missing baby. It's just listen to what your grandfather's saying. This is Dad's dad. Also, by the way, he keeps coming from this side of me, which is paternal side. So make sure you keep it with you. And dear God, please just bear with me, guys. I am trying to figure out. I thought that if you guys click on the URL that I just posted, can you pop into a particular waiting area? Tell me. I don't know if you can. I don't see anything yet. So Anne, by the way, I know I'm just finishing up with Anne. There's so many loved ones around you. And the great thing about you too, Anne, is that you've got a very amazing circle of friends, just of either friends and family that just love you. So just make sure you keep that with you also. Canary Carrie Leanne, did my grampy know I loved him when he passed? That's such a great question. Besides the fact that I love your name, Canary Carrie, because of course, yes, he did. I mean, any time whether we're conscious, whether we're not conscious, spirit knows. That's the great thing. And I don't know when you to Grampy. No, Canary Carrie, there's somebody who's named after or a junior connected. I just heard him say. So let me know what that's about. So let me see something here. Let's just see if I can do this right. I hope. I think. Hey, I did it.
Hi.
I hear you too. This is good. Oh my God. Look at him or her. How adorable. So it's Chris.
Yeah, Chris,
Chris,
Crystal.
Chris, I love it. So, Chris, just out of curiosity, just for my information, do you just click on that URL to pop in?
Yeah, so you click on the link.
That's it, and then it just pops in. It just gives
Nope.
you the request.
There's a few steps.
Oh, there is. What are the
Yeah.
steps?
So you click on the link, and then there's like 3 dots, and then you click on the dots, and then it opens to like a web browser, and then you're fine. Then you can just type your name in, and then it pops up.
So it wasn't that hard. It was okay. Got it. I think it was a little bit more difficult than not using StreamYard, but I love that you're here and I get to do this. So so let me tune in here to you. You know, Chris, I got to start with, I'm not really sure in a while I've ever felt, excuse me, someone's energy as big as yours. Your energy is gigantic, and empath parts of you are huge. I mean, do you know like how empathic you are?
Yes.
I'm like, oh my, I couldn't even bring spirit in because I'm like, holy moly, like your auras behind you are like, let me just say this, Chris, they're the most vibrant I think I have seen in a long time. So someone just, and I'll tell you who's coming through, but someone just showed me your palms, which are healing hands, which means that it's all part of the empath piece, which is beautiful. And there's something very who's artistic connected to you. There's somebody who keeps drawing. Like I feel like are you, do you have children?
Mm-mm.
Are you one of two? Why do I keep on two? Is it you and a sibling?
Yeah, I have a brother.
Okay, got it. I just heard someone stepping forward. It feels like it's a grandmother. No, but is your father here or crossed?
My grandfather just recently crossed.
So it's grandfather. So he pushed out a grandmother or a great grandmother. She was just coming in, and he was just very excited about stepping forward to let you know how much he loves you. But he just said there's two kids. So just giving that as a validation. But he keeps showing me. Oh no, Chris! You know what it is? It's a logo. Who did who thought about or is thinking about some kind of business, or that there's something that somebody has to be connected to you that like maybe ran that through their head one point or did it and stopped it, or what is this?
I actually just recently applied to go back to school for healthcare business.
Wow. Well, so know that wherever this is going to lead you, Chris, it's very, very big. But there's also somebody everyone's applauding too about what you just said about going back and applying. But there's also there's somebody with a business. So nobody like in your family or somebody very close connected to you had like either a small business, or you know what it kind of feels like? It feels like a t-shirt business or a jewelry business or baskets or something like that. So just make sure you keep it with you. You're Chris, but who's the other C or K? Who's like the other, like, what was that?
My mom's name's Christine.
Oh, but mom is here, right?
Yeah, she's still alive.
So they're just giving a validation to her. And which grandmother? Is both grandmothers crossed or is one?
No, my dad's mom passed.
So she's also stepping forward and is telling me they cannot believe you're not getting the business. And I'm like, I'm trying with Chris. I swear. Just make sure you hang on to it. There's a garage they keep showing me. So when I see a garage, it's either like mechanic, someone loved cars. There's something. Where's do you know where the garage or the car piece comes in?
I had my cousin's car. That was my first car after he passed away.
Wow.
Yeah.
And who's B and J? There's a B and a G and J name. When you just said that, your cousin just stepped forward, like flew. Oh, he's crazy, Chris. He's very, in a good way, in a very good way. Who's Bob or Bill? Who's the B? Brian. The Bob. Who's the B connection to you? I keep hearing the B, either living or crossed.
B. I don't know. My boyfriend's name is Robert. That's
That,
one thing, maybe.
that would be Bob, right? Yeah. I love how nonchalant you are. Yeah, my boyfriend's name is Robin. It's just, Bob, everybody in spirit does that because they want to give a validation about him. And your cousin just did this, just thumbs up about him. But is your boyfriend named after somebody?
Yes, he is.
Your cousin's giving me this and said, when I just said the jaw, that's a junior. So whether he's a junior or just a name is passed down, giving that also as a validation. And Chris, there was an accident. An accident. Did your cousin die like this, like quickly?
He had an overdose.
So know that he wants to make sure you know that he didn't do this purposely, that he did never ever I love him because he just pointed to you and said, would I leave that face? Look at that face. Like I would never. But it's very, very important for him. The great thing about your cousin, and he just said to me, my cousin knew I was going to come through. Like some part of you must have known he was going to come through. That's what he's saying. But he also just said to me that he takes responsibility, Chris, for everything that he did, and just said how much he thanks you, because whether you know this or not, he just said you were someone that he never felt judgment from. He never felt that. He just felt like just pure, like support. And whether you saw him once or used to see him all the time, it doesn't matter. It's what he's making sure you know. And the great thing about him, he just said is, but that's how she is across the board. And that's why she's so empathic in that. And he also said, what is really cool about my cousin is that over the past year or 2 years is when her connection or her gift, she's getting better at her gift, or she's getting better at her connection. He was like, I always knew she would, but he's really, really excited and very happy about it, and just making sure you know that he said. He also said there's a birthday or an anniversary close. There's something really, really close connected to you or your boyfriend. And when I get the bouquet of flowers, it's really close. So Where do you know what that is?
I hate to say it, but I don't know if the energy is just super strong, but it's messing with the microphone.
Oh, you can't hear me?
A little bit.
Oh, Chris, I'm sorry. Is there a birthday or an anniversary close?
My boyfriend and I just celebrated our anniversary.
When?
In June, the 14th of this month.
Oh, that would be it. So I was going to say the bouquet of flowers is a birthday or an anniversary 2 weeks back or 2 weeks forward. So just make sure you keep that with you, and just know that where you're going is the best place you could possibly be going, Chris. And then everybody is around you and loves you, especially your cousin. So your cousin's like your guardian angel. So just make sure you keep that with you.
He's definitely my protector because I've been focusing on my empath and my spirituality, and I definitely know he's my protector. So it's good to hear.
He's the one that said that, Chris, that over the past couple of years, you have really fallen into your gift. And what he just said to me? It's almost like she's picked up the reins of her gift. So how wild is that? And it just is going to get better and better and better. You're I do this because I said to him, so is she good for 2022? He was like, oh my God, she's so good. Let her go. She's good. So I love that, Chris. Thank you so much for letting me do this.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate it.
Listen, and you have a great, great rest of the day, rest of the night, and lots of love to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. How cute and how darling was she? So now I just need to get back to where I pick people. Remember also, if you heard Chris, is that you click the link. I don't know. Let me just see something. I don't know how to pin this. Wait, Jean, what? Crystal is our great niece? Oh my God. Um, Wait a minute. So I just gotta. Someone is trying to enter, but the studio is full. This is so polite and so rude at the same time. I just get this message. Someone's trying to enter, but the studio is full with 10 people. Please ask someone to leave if you'd like the new person to join. The professional plan allows 12 in the studio. Well, then I guess I have to do something about this then. How can I only have 10 people? Well, you know what? Here we go. So let's do this. Don't show again. And I'm not really sure who I'm pulling in. Hello.
Hi,
Hi, Amy. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
You were just looking like a deer in the headlights. Like, I'm like, can she see me? I'm here, Amy. So, and I also can hear, you have the microwave going?
No, my kitchen timer just went off, so hold on. I'm going in the dark.
Let's all follow Amy and see what she's making or baking.
Pizza.
Wow, look what's happening over at Amy's house. So, Amy, I'm so glad I get to do this with you. And if you're into a reading, I'm going to start. Unless you want us to wait for you to eat your pizza.
Oh, heck no. No. Just going to get it out of the oven and we'll be good. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Look at Amy just putting everybody on hold until she gets her pizza out of the oven and gets it all set. I love this.
All right, there we go.
Love it. Take your time, Amy. I got all the time in the world. So does everybody else.
No, you don't. Okay, we're back. Go back to my living room.
You make me laugh. I love it. I love when things like this happen. So, which is really cool. So, all right. So let me just tune in. The first thing, Amy, I keep getting is roses. Someone keeps handing me rose. This is really interesting. Someone keeps handing me roses. I bought two people with two pets. Chris had the dog. You've got the cat. I love this. This is definitely a great reading, or two great readings. So I keep getting roses being given. So let me ask you something, Amy. Is there a connection to with the name Rose or roses? I get a really strong, like, some connection to Rose.
Rose is my grandmother's maiden name. She was a Rosa.
Oh my God! Wow. So this is your grandmother?
I believe it's my grandmother Leah. Yes.
Okay, got it. And but is this mom's mom?
Yes.
And she's crossed.
Yes.
So, I'd say mom's mom because she comes from, I know it's weird, it comes from this side, which is maternal side. So she wants to be the first to let you know that she's with you. She's around you. She just stood right next to me and she said, my granddaughter's smart, right? She's really smart. She's very smart. And she, it's interesting. Is your father here or crossed?
He's crossed as well.
So I thought he was crossed, but he's got a lot to say there, Amy. Your father stands like way sort of back, and your grandmother hasn't stopped talking. Like, she's so excited that you're here and keeps hugging you, pulling back, hugging you. She looks so good. She's so smart. She's definitely a cheerleader for you up in spirit and tells everybody about you. And the wild thing, Amy, which I have to share, is that your grandmother just said to me, when she's in spirit watching you, anybody that walks by her in spirit, she just points to you and just starts explaining to them who you are, how her granddaughter is amazing and all this kind of stuff, which I love. But your father was your father distant at some point?
Yes.
Because just the way he steps forward and does this to me, like he spreads his arms out and says that now, from Amy, make sure you get that this is coming from his perspective. So your father just said, I first need to start with just an apology to my daughter. I need to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for my actions. I'm sorry for the from what he feels in periods the father he wasn't that you deserve, that you should have had, and somebody to constantly tell you how much you're loved and how amazing you are. Your father, when you know, it's interesting too, Amy, when I said your father was in the back and was stepping forward, he was not going to say anything. He was just going to be here, and everybody else in spirit said that she needs to hear this to be validated. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what
It
what
does.
everybody said. So you get it, and just
I
keep
do.
saying, you know, she's. I didn't realize until I crossed over the degree of what she was feeling, the hurt and all these emotions. He said, I didn't get it. And I always tell people, Amy, that when we cross over from what spirit tells us, that it's like it's like a blueprint of our lives. We get to see, all the choices we've made. And, but there's something mentally, like, did he drink?
No, he didn't.
There's something
He,
I'm asking. I'm asking Amy not to interrupt, but when I get near his brain, it feels something's off. Like I don't know if this is like depression, if there's something like my mind is not a normal, like, because I can feel when they were here in the physical world, and when I get to feel your father when he's in the physical world, it feels like I'm either like my mind's either from drinking, my mind's out because of depression. There's something going on.
he didn't speak up for us. We came from a very large family, and there was a divorce, and the divorce went bad. And my mom didn't treat us as well as she should have. She had some illness, and I always felt that he didn't love us, is why he didn't speak up for us.
Wow. Did you say your mom had some mental issues?
Yes. Yeah, my mom was very, very depressed. She had 8 kids in a very short amount of time, and she was very mentally abusive to us.
So it wasn't him that I was feeling. It was your mom's energy.
Yeah.
Just that depression, or in my mind was just really, really out there. Is she still here, or is she crossed?
No, she has passed. Yeah. I don't have any
Your mom is passed.
grandparents or
I
parents.
got it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you're I will say this, Amy, that your dad, when I also turn into his soul or feel his soul, is incredible. I mean, he's got such a good soul. He comes from a good place. I think it was just a matter of from what you just explained and from what I got from the beginning, just that he did the best that he could, and just wanted to make sure that he took advantage of this reading, really, just to say how much you are loved and how much he loves you, even though there's a child in spirit. Someone lost a child. Because when I get one, because you said you have 7 siblings.
I have 7 other siblings. Yes.
There's one in spirit. So your mom didn't have a miscarriage or lose a child?
She could have, but we didn't have the closest relationship, so she didn't say much. But she had her first child when she was 18, and me when she was 38. So she had several.
Wow.
There may have been a miscarriage.
Wow. Unless it's one of the siblings that they're talking about that lost a child, but there's a child. I know you're Amy, but who's Anne? Who's Anna? Anne?
Anne is my aunt. That would be my father's sister-in-law.
Father's sister-in-law.
She's still alive.
Here? She's still here. I thought so. So just your dad. It's just a way that your dad's giving that also as a validation. Somebody is learning how to drive. Just got their license, or who is that?
My son's learning how to drive. He's 12.
He's 12.
He's driving tractors and Jeeps. Yes, he's driving Jeeps and tractors.
I love you, Amy. The pizza, the 12-year-old driving. This is so wild. I love that your dad just sat me down like this, and I knew I was like brand new driving. So, Dad just wants to make sure you know that he's watching. He knows everything that's going on with you and the rest of your siblings. And this painting, I can smell paint. So this is painting. What's paint? Who's painting?
Yes, he was an artist. My dad's
your
an artist.
dad?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's pretty
he
wild.
Yeah.
What was that?
Art school. He was the teacher for the elementary and high school in Provincetown.
Well, and he taught art.
Yes.
Wow. No wonder I could smell the paint. So it's such a great thing that your dad is just giving that as a validation, Amy. And one of the things that your father just said, I just want my daughter. He says this for all the kids, but because I'm talking to you, he is like your sister close to you, like.
I do have one sister very close.
But your father just said that the sister is very, very close. So it's just, Dad just giving that as a random thing, just saying he knows everything that's going on with you. But your father just said his mission, really, Amy, in spirit, is to do everything that he didn't do when he was here. And make sure this sinks in and this is absorbed, because he just said, what I didn't do, whether Amy understands this or not, what I didn't do in the physical world is exactly what she is doing, that she can stand up and she can make sure that, and he just said, you are the best mom there possibly could be. Like the standard and the bar that you have. He said not rose or not, she broke the ceiling with that, and just said that that is something that he just said to me that I'm not sure I have the right to say I'm so proud of her. He said, but I am so proud of her. You're very different from your siblings, very different. And one of the things too is that everybody in spirit, your grandmother just also said, make sure you trust, you believe, and you don't doubt your gut, because you are really, really connected to like your intuitive abilities, and that gut piece is pretty incredible. Maybe I had this backwards. Do you just have one child or one boy?
I only have one child. I have Caleb, and I've raised him by myself as a single mom.
So you know what? I think I may have went the opposite when I was saying there's one child in spirit. I think what they were saying is there's just one child here, and that's why they were referencing you, because it's your one. And he is a pistol. Your father just said your son is just incredible, has the biggest heart, but is also an experimenter. Like just loves to experiment and just But I'll tell you something, Amy. That boy loves his mama. Loves his mama. And there's something about a tattoo. What's the tattoo? There's something that
I have a tattoo.
But is it I'm sorry, I have to like check these comments, because these idiots come on and just start, if you want a reading, it's such and such amount. It's ridiculous. I have to do that, but I think we all have to do it when we're doing lives. But is your tattoo in memory of somebody?
No, I'm putting one together for my angels, and I haven't quite decided what that's going to be, but I do have one tattoo of some flowers. But I'm working on putting one together.
And you said for your angels?
Yes, I know. I had a reading done recently, and was told who my guardian angels were, and my dad and my uncle are definitely one of them.
I love that. And that's really what I was asking about. Are you getting a tattoo or have a tattoo in memory of somebody? I'm not going to get into that you're cheating on me, that you went to another medium. That's all right, Amy. Maybe a piece of pizza will help me out, make me feel better. Just saying. But no, seriously, your dad is just well, let me just say this, that you definitely have as you just mentioned, the most incredible guardian angel with your father. Just making sure that every single thing you do from now until years from now, when you cross over, your dad is going to be with you, making sure he can do anything and everything. That's his goal in spirit, is to make up for what he didn't do here. He's crying, like incredibly crying, that he's just so excited that it makes me feel like your father just said, it's the first time I got to really tell my daughter how I feel, like, and make sure that she hears this from somebody. And I'm just the conduit, right? I mean, this is your father speaking, not me, but he's just so excited that he just said, as long as I know it's the first step in healing, and even if it's the baby step that will keep getting better and better and better, or bigger and bigger, he said, that's all I care about. He loves you so much and is so proud of who you've become as a woman, as a mom. It's pretty amazing. And every time your son gets on the tractor or whatever he's driving, your father's right with him to make sure that he's okay. So, and as a matter of fact, when you go back to this, a second ago, your father just said, I just did an orb. So I don't know if you saw it, but you'll see an orb go right by me, and that's your dad just letting you know it's him. Spirit uses those orbs, which is really cool. You're in such a good place. And your grandmother just said, can she go eat her pizza now? I love your grandmother. They're all taking care of you, Amy, which is a beautiful thing.
She's a good cook.
I'm not, but
And
go ahead.
This is wonderful, because I really needed to hear this, because I did need to forgive my dad.
Wow.
I think that's been a huge void in my life. And I always get mad that he didn't stand up or stick up for us. And now I know that he's on the other side doing everything he should have when he didn't do when he was here.
I think, as I mentioned, Amy, I think he did the best he could. And I'll tell you one thing is, and I'm sure exactly. And I'm sure, based in your soul, that man loves all his children. And I think he did the best he could, and not until crossing over is where he really got slapped in the face of seeing how his kids were affected. And that's why I said a couple of seconds ago that he's so happy. He's like, this is the beginning. This is the first time she gets to hear this and know this. So you're also in such a great place. Amy, thank you so much for letting me do this.
Great. Thank you. Have a good night.
Go have a great pizza.
I am. Thank you.
Bye. I love this. You know what? I love doing this, but I love just getting, like, how cool is it? All of a sudden, Amy's just, having the oven going off with the pizza. It's so wild. So, let me just see here. I'm sorry that I just and I'm sorry, Amy, that I just kind of like went off on her reading. It's so frustrating that I this week when I was in Puerto Rico, I got a message from a medium who I don't know, who's in Australia, saying, hey, Stephen, you've got such incredible connections to angels, and you're so connected spiritually. I have messages for you. And then, of course, it was just a little bit below, if you send blah, blah, blah. And I just clearly knew it wasn't this particular medium reaching out to me. And most of us don't do that. Most of us don't reach out to people. But the fact that now they're using, lives to try to do this is just so, so irritating. And it comes from a place of just being so upset that if anybody listens or thinks this is real, there's a lot of vulnerable people, especially when it comes to death, that people just want to connect to their loved ones. And if they feel like even an iota of a sense of, I may hear from somebody, and that this is just completely fraudulent and they're paying for this, it's not just, and not that the financial aspect is not big, but it's not just about that. It's about emotionally, physically, mentally, what it does to somebody when it's not true, so it gets me going, and so I'm sorry to vent. Let me just go here and just pick someone. Hey, Danielle's in the house. How are you, Danielle?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too, and I'm glad to get to do this with you.
Same here.
Okay, so let me get rid of Amy's. Literally, I don't know if you guys know this, but when I finish a reading, and I'm sure maybe for other mediums, or maybe it's just me that I'm crazy, I actually have to tell my guides to take all of Amy's people out and then now bring Danielle's people in, because if I don't, I'm going to start getting messages still for Amy. It's kind of, it's weird. It's like all backstage stuff that goes on. So here we go. Danielle, there's a lot going on here with you. It's really funny that someone just showed me like just branches coming out of like almost like you're the foundation or you're the tree, and there's just branches coming out, and I'm like, why are you showing me this? What is that? What does that represent? And I just heard it's almost like sometimes Danielle feels like she's being pulled in like a many different directions, and not understanding or always on those branches and not being in the foundation of who Danielle is. So just who's healthcare? Who's like a nurse or the doctor or dental or pharmaceutical? I keep feeling like Danielle, either someone living or somebody crossed, but there's a healthcare
I was
person.
here. I mean, that's all I can think of.
I didn't hear you. What?
I was in healthcare. I don't know.
Danielle, I love when people say that also very nonchalantly, like I was, but that was a long time ago. And the great thing about this, Danielle, and a lot of people say that, right? Which makes sense. But a lot of why Spirit does that is to say these random messages to say they've been with you since you were a baby, even loved ones that you've never even met. Because there's a great grandmother on your mother's side. Is your mother's mother, is your grandmother on your mom's side here or crossed?
Crossed.
So imagine her mother is stepping forward, and just let me just tell you, I'm stuttering because there's so many people here for you, and why they just bring that up is just to say that they know everything that's going on with you. There's also Elizabeth. Or Edward, who's the E, or Erin? There's a really strong first name or middle name, E name. So if you don't have it, just make sure you keep it with you. That's your mom's mom that just said that.
Okay.
I don't know why. There's also a grandfather here who just said my granddaughter got a raw deal. I don't know what that means. And he's talking about, it feels like he's talking about a relationship, I think, because he just, remember, Danielle, first of all, before I even finish that comment, let me also start with, you also have this incredible, it's almost like you got like a star behind you shining. Like you have to, putting aside stuff that we all have, like bad times, or we have bad days, we have sometimes bad years, but you have to understand, in somewhere in your soul, you must know that you are, when you're on, there's no stopping Danielle. Like there is no, like your personality, seriously, your personality, who you are, the love you've got, the love you give. I mean, it's huge. It's really big. And I wanted to make sure I started with that, just to make sure that, because your grandfather said she needs to hear that. She needs to be reminded of that, because there's times that that gets thrown out the window, and it's almost like, what the hell am I doing? Like what's going on with me? Or why your grandfather just said to me, it's almost like she thinks the path is going this way, and then all of a sudden it doesn't. It just turns, or it goes another way. So there's also a Robert, Bobby. Who's the Rob, Richard. There's an R I keep hearing, and it feels like it's an X. That's what it feels like. And also David. Who's David connected to you?
That's funny. That's the second time I've heard that name. I don't. David. The only thing I can think of is my old neighbor.
Is your old neighbor crossed or here?
Yeah, my dad. Yeah, My dad saved him, but pulled out his dead body next door. Went
Oh
out.
my God! Wow. And so that and his name was David.
Yeah, he's come. Yeah, he's come through before.
Yeah, so just know that he's also here again. And you know why David wants to step forward, whether you had any relationship with him, or it doesn't, the relationship here doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's more about there. He's just letting you know that he's around you and with you. And by the way, I think I started with this with the first person I read, Chris, that you're also really connected. Like you are very, very connected to spirit. But your grandfather just said to me, "Is this your mom's dad?" I keep getting pulled to the right.
It's feeling like him.
He just said to me, I love the fact, Stephen, that you just said to her, my granddaughter, that she's very connected. He said, "I just have one question for my granddaughter. Why the hell isn't she using it? Like, why is she throwing that out and not using the connection, not asking spirit, like legitimately, I need signs, I need guidance." I say that, Danielle, because you may do that, but if people, it's very interesting what spirit told me for people that are connected, that sometimes we'll say, "I'm asking for a sign, I'm asking for a sign," but it's at the surface level and you're not in the present. And if you're not in the present when you're asking, "I need guidance, I need a sign, I need to know if this is good, if this is bad," if you're not in the present lane, it goes nowhere. It's almost like you're opening the window in a house that is by itself, and there's nothing around it, and you're screaming and nobody can hear it, right? You have to be present, meaning that you're going to take a couple of deep breaths in, and you have to be in the present sort of life to be able to connect. Now, why does your grandfather keep talking about the relationship? Are you in a new one, or did it end, or what is what?
Badly recently.
And why your grandfather just had me ask about the relationship is that's one of the questions that my granddaughter has about this relationship, and future relationships. Danielle, all I can tell you is that your grandfather just said to me, you've got to, he understands why, but you have to do whatever you can to get out of the mindset of, again, this is like it was my fault, or I picked him, or I like being and sitting in that is just, if you don't get out of it, it's just going to continue. It's going to happen for the next one. And your grandfather just said, she just said yes, and in her head's like, I don't know what that means. I love your grandfather. I love it. I love how he's just calling it out, and just what it really means is, and I think it's also what I talked about in one of the readings I did, actually not today, but a couple of right before I went to Puerto Rico, I was reading this woman who was just so sweet. I was going to say so pretty, not that matters, but like yourself, very pretty, very sweet. I could feel the energy, and she was so not in her soul. I had a pad and I lifted it up. I said, I drew like her here, and I drew her, I can't do this with the camera, and I drew her soul here. And I'm like, you're not even connected at all. You're so completely separate, and your mind and body is completely separate. And why your grandfather just brings that up is that he said, my granddaughter she's got to step back. She's got to pull herself back from the current situation. Almost, she's lost who Danielle is. And your grandfather just said to me, I know that may sound harsh, but she's lost who she is. She doesn't know who Danielle is anymore. And Danielle is like any guy or any person that's around her should be blessing, like on their knees, just being so, or feeling so blessed that they get to be around you. I will tell you something. There's jail or police connected here. Your grandfather keeps talking about, I just want her to know that I'm watching and protecting. And, when they bring stuff up like that, Danielle, it's all these random things just to say they know what's going on. They see everything. And that your grandfather just said to me, the best way to describe my granddaughter is that she is a lost, hurt little girl That's who is present right now. It's not an adult. It's just this very, very hurt little girl that's making decisions for an adult woman. And your grandfather just said, I know this is not going to be easy to hear. He said, but Danielle, just listen to this, and I just promise you this what I'm about to say is what is supposed to happen. This last relationship was supposed to happen. And I know that you may say whether it was great, whether it was horrible, for whatever reason, Danielle, you're at the place of like being on the cliff and getting ready to jump. And that's a good thing. Like I always tell people, like the best place you want to be is right at the tip of the cliff. And when you jump, you spread your wings and you start flying and you start understanding and getting a better perspective. But for whatever reason, this is just something because your grandfather just said this relationship is, whether my granddaughter knows this or not, is the relationship that she grew the most. Like she's learned the most. He said, right now, there's a lot of hurt that is sort of masking that. Like her heart is just completely crushed. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but it's just it's shattered, and she feels like it's not just broken, it's like it's broken and it's stepped on and it's crushed, meaning that it's never going to come back together again. And your grandfather said, but honey, it is. In what, whether you know this or not, you're in the place that you're in the best place right now, Danielle, that you can either go forward with your passion, with your life, getting into a better place, or go back and stay in the same place. And what that means and what that's all about is just really understanding who you are and trying to, your grandfather just said, taking an inventory of who you are. And the one thing I will tell you that grandfather and everybody in spirit that has stepped forward, Danielle, has said to me, and I don't even know who they are. I know they're connected to you. There's a suicide too, or someone who crossed fast, like because they're standing right next to you saying, she's incredible. Like Danielle is incredible. So you, it sounds like you, or seems like you know what I'm talking about. But I'll tell you, you've got to put Danielle first. And your grandfather just said, she's also very stubborn.
Mhm.
Your daughter is extremely stubborn and a lot of times thinks she knows what she knows. And your grandfather said, if there's anything, Stephen, you've learned through spirit and you've learned yourself, is that, you don't know what you don't know. And that was a hard lesson for me, Danielle, to figure out. I just thought I was very stubborn and I just thought I knew what people were thinking. I knew what I knew. And when I realized I don't know anything really. All I know is then that enabled me to turn into to focus on myself. But your grandfather just said, she's got everything. Everybody knows that. Everyone who loves Danielle knows that she's got everything. And a lot of people connected to you, Danielle, just shake their head like, I don't understand this. Like, I don't understand. Seriously, I don't understand this. Like, why? What is happening or why? And Danielle, it's all about coming from your soul. And if you're not connected to your soul and you're not putting yourself first, that's what's going to happen. The great thing about this is that, as I mentioned, you're at this place that you've never been. You may feel crappy right now, but I will tell you something. Your grandfather said, underneath the crappiness, I've never heard this before, and I love this. Underneath the crappiness, like the mud in the crappiness, the broken heart that you're feeling right now is magic that's never been there before, Danielle. It just means that you're finally, each day, maybe each relationship that you've been through just has sort of made the warrior Danielle get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger to get to that place that I'm done. And the next person in my life I want is the person that is my forever, that is 100% for me and treats me as a queen. Because really, Danielle, that's what you should be treated as. In all of this, Danielle, all I will tell you is that this is also timing. Everything that you've been through in your life, and I'm not saying it's been like everything's been horrible, because clearly it's not, but everything that you've been through, there's a reason for, and this is all about timing. And if you can really absorb what your grandfather's saying, that this is the time for you, and understand that things will completely change when you really do inventory. And your grandfather just said, and she steps back into Danielle. And I don't know why I'm swearing so much, but he just said, Danielle is like, she's a kick-ass girl. Like, she is like incredible, seriously. And you've got the biggest heart too. Like, you're one of these people that just are so compassionate, and just, you've got so much love to give. And your grandfather just said, it's never too late. As a matter of fact, it's right on time. I've never heard that before. This is right on time. So the great thing about this, Danielle, is that this is recorded, so you can go back to Facebook and watch it again. I'm saying that because your grandfather just said to tell her to go back to this. And there's a lot. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot for you to figure out. But the great thing is that it's all within you. That's the coolest thing, is that everything that you need to change your grandfather said, it's not, he's schooling me. He said, she doesn't need to change anything. What she really needs to do is understand who Danielle is. That's what she needs. She doesn't need to change anything. She just needs to put Danielle first, which ultimately will then make sure that Danielle knows what she needs, what she deserves, what she wants. And that energy will be in front of you. And that's the energy that you will attract, the positive people, the people that you want in your life. So I hope this makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Perfect, Danielle. Listen, go watch this again, but I'm telling you, I have 100% confidence in you that this is 2022 is, your grandfather just said to me, she knows, she felt going into 2022 that this was going to be different, that something in her feels like it's going to be different. So I don't know if you feel that or not, but
been different already. Yeah.
So, but in a really great way. But I will say this before I let you go, is that you're in a place of change, right?
Yes.
Changing your environment, changing about putting yourself first and whatnot. Let me just tell you, and for everybody that's watching this, when you change something for the better, or you start like putting yourself first, you're always going to get hit with the universe challenging you. They're going to come back and try to smack you down. It's just the way it is. I mean, so if you say if you're someone who, I don't know, like has a short temper, and you lose control very easily, and you finally say, you know what, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to work on myself, and you start a day and you do really, really well. And then the next day you come, pulling out of like your driveway, and you're in the right of way, and some car just comes flying by, gives you the finger, screams at you for no reason. It's the universe challenging you and saying, are you really changing?
Yeah.
Because are we going to make you fall right back into what you've been doing? That the universe wants to make sure they're not going to spend all their time and energy getting on board with you. They want the best for you, but they're going to say, let's challenge you. And it's not easy. It's not easy. So you've got when I look at 2022 as it moves forward, you've got some greatness. Danielle, you're good. You've got to keep email me. You've got to keep in touch with me, okay?
I will. I definitely will. Thank you so much.
All right, perfect. Listen, you have a great night, and lots of love to you.
Same to you. Bye.
So I know this flew by, and I have to stop because I've got some things to do. I only allocated an hour. Thank you guys for letting me do this. I love seeing everybody, and I promise I can see the orbs going back and forth and back and forth. So I will do this soon again so that I get to do more people, and everybody that hung on. Make sure that if there's anything that you felt or heard in these readings, you don't have to have a reading for me. There's a young boy here who's just saying, she's here. I don't know. It sounds like mom. I don't know. Mom's here. I love him. He's really, really cute. Just know that when you hear things that you may say, that applies to me, it's because it does apply to you. That's how this works. So make sure you follow me here, Instagram, YouTube, because I will tell you there's some really amazing things coming up that I will be sharing soon. So listen, lots of love to everybody. I hope everybody stayed safe in the snowstorm, and I will see you soon.